Tarsus, how are you?
Hey Sammy, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we've been doing some internal talk schools recently, and you, as one of our PPC analytical whizzes, have just run us through some Google Analytics training. Obviously, it was quite a lot that we covered off, but sort of
Yeah,
summarizing it up, why did you choose to sort of dive into Google Analytics for us?
yeah, that's a good question because that's a tool that most agents use like on a daily basis, and sometimes people don't know how important it is to use the day to day. So we thought that would be really important, so everyone at Talk could have a thought on how important this is to use for all the teams. So not even for the analysts at PPC team or the SEO team, but everyone, the client team, designers, the developers, they can understand how important it is to use for us and also for the clients.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really good tool to use.
Such a key tool and a free tool, which is always a fun bonus.
Exactly.
um,
Exactly.
there is so much information that Google Analytics houses, and like you said, there's the designers can use things, information out of there to help them make decisions when designing new websites. Same for the developers and all of the other teams. But what do you think are some of the key bits of information that Google Analytics provides to its users?
Yeah, that's good. I mean, when you are running, for example, a new campaign or developing a new website for clients, you can just try to go to Google Analytics and try to pull out some information. For example, the audiences. You can see if a website have the Google Analytics tracking IG installed for the last, for example, 3 years. You can pull out so many great insights. You can see, for example, demographics, people, their age, gender, how are their interests on the internet. So you can see, for example, if we have a garden company that in your user, for example, they have garden interests, but they also have other interests. You can see what are those other interests. It's very important. For example, the social team can use this information to build social posts, not only for people who likes garden, but if that people like, for example, cars or other tools as well, or coffee, maybe you can see and
Who
find
doesn't
those
like
great
coffee?
insights. Yes.
Yeah, it's so helpful. There really is so much insights. And I also really loved when you were sort of running us through some of the different ways you can find both acquisition and then behavior once users have been acquired, and to sort of see where they're coming from, but then what they're doing on the website. There's just
Yeah.
so much you can get out of that as well.
Yeah, exactly. You can see how's the flow. I mean, when people land on a page, you can say, okay, after that page, what happens, and what you want that the user will take, what kind of actions. So on Google Analytics, you can track events and also conversions. Our conversions they are our goals to the website. So users can click on a button, but we want that the users click on that button specifically. And after that button, what is the next button? So we can track all the journey to the user, so it can drive the user to the right page, and so they can purchase, for example, if you have an e-commerce website.
Yeah. And it's so good, it really is. Um,
Yeah.
and for those of our followers who didn't get to sit on our wonderful internal talk school, what would be some of the key places for them to start, or some key points for them to kind of take away, if you could summarize the amazing hour of information you gave to us in just a few minutes?
Yeah, I mean, before just starting trying to analyze data, you need to make sure that that is properly set up.
Yeah.
So you need to really make sure that everything's properly set up. You have the tracking ID on all the pages. You are tracking all the events and conversions. And if you have an e-commerce website, are you tracking the add to carts? Are you tracking the checkout steps? And also when users purchase a product. So when you have everything really properly set up, you can see it doesn't matter just driving people to the website. What matters, we are driving just warm users. You just need warm traffic to the website and the right users to the website. So one of the first steps, making sure that everything is properly set up. And then it's not only a matter of analyzing data and collecting data. On those data, we need to take actions. So making analysis and all of those data collected, we need to analyze everything, put it together, build insights, and then take an action. Only when you take an action, it all will matter.
Yeah, that's it, right? You could have an endless amount of data, but if you're not understanding how to read it or making decisions for your business based off that data, then there's no point in having it set up the same as if it is inaccurate. And when you're talking about setting up the tracking, that largely needs to be done through Google Tag Manager. Is that?
Yeah, it can be done via Google Tag Manager, and it helps a lot. You can install the tracking ID via Tag Manager and build all the events. For example, when people click on a button, you can track that. When people try to click to call, you can track that. When people send you a form, you can track everything. So yeah, Google Tag Manager is an excellent tool.
Maybe our next talk school will need to be on Google Tag Manager.
Yeah, that could be the next one as well.
No, but thank you so much, Tarsus, for running through this with us again. But do you have any sort of last parting thoughts on Google Analytics for all of our wonderful followers?
Yeah, I think it's a last touch point. We need to organize and structure our data on Google Analytics, making sure that we are taking the time. When sometimes you would just want to do things, but sometimes you need to stop, analyze, and make sure that everything is correctly measured so we can talk to teams, talk to the companies, and then see, okay, this makes sense. Now that it makes sense, we can take sort of an action and a decision to the user. So we can, for example, run a campaign on Google, run a campaign on Facebook, or maybe just doing more on organic or doing more on socials. So the last point would just take the time, analyze your data, talk to your team, and make sure that they're doing the right decision before just doing things.
Slow down and look at what is happening at the moment, what your current audience and campaigns are doing before you continue diving into any more.
Exactly. It's all about the big picture.
That's it. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Tarsus. It's been such a joy chatting with you again. Can't wait for the next talk school.
No worries. Thank you, Sammy. Bye.
Bye.